Where is a place that you just almost can't get a bite in the early spring, but you can catch them right now in the hot summer? Good morning, guys and girls. August 28th. Yes, sir, August 28th. We have just about used up another month. We're going to be looking in Romans 14:19. By the way, we're reading from the Catch of the Day book. Those of you just joining into this Catch of the Day YouTube channel. The Catch of the Day is a book that I wrote several years ago, and it's got a scripture, a devotional centered around fishing, and a fishing tip for every single day of the year. And we read them every morning. We put them up here on YouTube at 5 o'clock in the morning Central Time. And we don't just read them, we add to them in a lot of ways. We might add to the scripture. We might add to the fishing tip. We might add to the devotional and talk about, well, just whatever pops into my mind. This just might be, this Catch of the Day YouTube channel, just might be one of the very most important channels on YouTube because it changes people's lives. It'll change your life. It changes mine just being here and sharing them with you. It really does. So if you've got somebody that you care about, a member of your family or a friend or somebody that you really care about, share this with them and encourage them to subscribe to the Catch of the Day YouTube channel. We've got nearly 7,000 people on here now. We started this back in April. We actually started this on our regular Jimmy Houston Outdoors YouTube channel. But it has its own channel now. It's got its own home, which is just fantastic. We started that in April. A lot of you have been on here with me every single day for now almost 8 full months. Almost 8 full months. We haven't missed a day yet, and you haven't missed a day yet. Isn't that fantastic? But share this. If everybody on here will share it with a couple, 2 or 3 people, we'll jump this thing up to 10, 12, 15,000 pretty quick, which means that God will be working in more people's lives than maybe he's working in their life today. All right, let's look at Romans 14:19. So let us try to do what makes peace and helps one another. Let us try to do what makes peace and it helps one another. Wow. We just all do that. We just quit right now and say that's a great thing. Let's go out and do it today. Okay, as the nights begin to cool, most bass will start to move into shallow water. And it's amazing how shallow these bass will roam. I'm talking about inches of water, not feet. Inches of water, not feet. Their primary target is going to be small bluegill and perch. They sometimes literally run those bait fish out on the bank. Because some of the summer schooling is still intact, these bass roam in bunches. We call them wolf packs. And they actually help one another trap the bluegill up against the shoreline. You know, if you find this happening in a lake that you're fishing this time of the year, and we find it happening quite often where these little wolf packs of bass, and they'll all be the same. They might be pounders, they might be 2-pounders, they might be 3-pounders, and very seldom are they going to be giants, but they're all about the same, and they're a school of bass that's been schooling out in the lake, and this schooling activity is going on. They've just taken that school, instead of running the shad up to the top of the water, they've moved in on the bank, and they're running bluegill up against the bank, and then they go in there and catch them. And when you find this, you'll normally catch 2 or 3 or 4 bass in one spot. And then they're gone. They're actually just moving down the bank, and they're just little wolf packs of bass moving down the bank, herding shad up against the bank. So, I mean, it's herding bluegill and brim and perch up against the bank so they can catch them. They're actually helping one another trap the bluegill against the bank. Our daily goal should be to constantly help one another. We should help one another for the sake of godliness and not for the sake of what we might gain. Just try to imagine what kind of families we could have, what kind of businesses, what kind of churches, if we would all just follow this one bit of godly instructions. Helping one another. Try to make peace and help one another. Let us try to do whatever that is that makes peace and helps one another. Muddy springtime, here's our tip. Muddy springtime rivers and lakes turn into great fish-catching color water in late summer. We've got a lake here in Oklahoma, Lake Eufaula. It's got, it's actually got several major tributaries that run into it, but some of those rivers are just like Yoo-hoo in the springtime. In fact, they're worse than Yoo-hoo. Some of you don't know, Yoo-hoo's a chocolate milk. But they just are so red, so dirty, so muddy that, I mean, you can run a spinnerbait on top of the water and you see the ripple, you don't see the blade. That's how muddy they get. But once this summertime gets here, once the rains stop and we get these drought situations like we have right now in Oklahoma, those waters get to be the absolute perfect color. And most of them, nobody's caught any bass out of all year long. So you're fishing bass that maybe haven't seen a lure all year long. And Lake Eufaula is one of them. I go up in those rivers in the summertime here on Lake Eufaula and get in there where the water's down low and you got little ditches and tributaries in there and go back in them and whack them. I'm talking about whacking them. Square bill crankbaits, spinner baits. I mean whacking them. And big fish too, big fish too. So search those kind of areas out this time of the year when the water is muddy, so muddy you can't fish in the springtime. But this time of the year, the water color will get just right. Hey guys and girls, go out there and have you a great one today. Try to do something that helps somebody else. Remember, I love you.